1340 96.5 KVGC. On the phone with me, Douglas Viviani of Everything Old is New Again, the show that each week examines our pop culture, where it came from, why it's still popular, and always making radio fun. And Douglas, let me just start off by saying, wow, Teresa and I both really enjoyed Angelica's performance as Elsa in Frozen.
Oh, wow, thank you. I will definitely let her know that. Yes, it went off pretty well. If anybody wants to see it for kicks, it's on our Facebook page under Everything Old is New Again radio show, or my name. And, yeah, she surprised us. This little devil, she went to the rehearsals, twice a week, and then we had a lady down the block who's a pretty good voice coach, and we had her go about 6 times to that lady. We never, for 3 months, never heard her singing at home. Yelled at her incessantly how she's the star of the show, and how could you be singing this great song? How could you not be practicing it? You're not into it. This is unbelievable. We're so disappointed. And all of this. And she told all of these people to keep a secret from us that when we weren't home, she was practicing. And, she got home from school or something like that. And so all of a sudden she opens up and starts singing this song, and there's a number of other ones, and we look at each other like, huh? Like we had not heard her sing before and did not know that it would be, she's 10 and she's singing Let It Go. It was pretty impressive, and she's a piece of work, this kid.
Now, have you seen the previews for the movie Cats?
I have.
Is that excitement in your house, or?
My wife loved Cats on Broadway. I loathed Cats on Broadway. And the way it looks, even to my wife, looks like it's going to be a flop. And we saw listen to Jennifer Hudson sing the Memories, which is the only part of the show that I liked, to tell you the truth. I hate to put it down like that, but that's it. And she destroyed it, I think. So, maybe it's just my opinion. Don't kill me, but I think it's going to be a flop. I think they I don't know what they did. They tried to make it more interesting than it is. In the previews, they added James Corden and some others, and I hope it's good. I really hope that I'm wrong. But what I'm looking at, it looks off a little bit. What about you?
Have you heard about the costumes? How did they do the costumes?
That'll be Oscar award winning. Don't they look tremendous?
Well, are they CG? Are they computer generated? Are they actually in a costume? Because I can't see them. Some of them look just like they're a cat. Their face just blends. And I know they can do a lot with makeup, but I just can't see them getting into those costumes every single day like
bodysuits or something. Yeah. They really look good. You're right. What do you think? Have you ever been a fan?
No, I'm more of a Phantom of the Opera fan.
Right.
Will I see it? Probably going to miss it.
Yeah.
Probably going to miss it.
It just looks goofy. I don't know. There's something odd about the way it looks. Am I wrong?
It's scary. It looks scary. The reason I was asking, I was wondering if Angelica would be interested in cats, but on the other hand, was Leo scared of the cats? They come on screen. It scares me. No, I'm serious. I don't like the look of the cats. They don't.
We're into all that stuff. I really, if it gets, I hope I'm wrong, and if it gets decent reviews, they definitely will see it. Otherwise, I'll have to wait to see it on their own.
I was reading a article yesterday, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about Star Trek down the road. You wanted to talk about it. It was about Worf. Do you know that Worf, the character of Worf, is the most visible character in the Star Trek universe? He has been seen on screen more times than any other Star Trek character.
Yes, he even played his great grandfather in Star Trek Generations. If you remember when Kirk was on trial in the Klingon homeworld.
Yeah.
He was his defense attorney. But anyway, that was the same actor. Yes, because he was in Deep Space Nine as well. And
yeah, he's been in all the movies,
Right.
Is it Michael Dorf? Is that
Michael Dorn?
Dorn. That's
yes.
it. Dorn. Yeah.
And we saw him at a convention. He lost all kinds of weight, became one of these, I don't know how to describe it, but very, very into what he eats and working out and all this. And he used to be buff and a strong, big guy. He's like a rail now at this point. So when you see him on live, it's funny. You go, that's Worf, huh? I don't think he could play the character again the way he really morphed his body, and he's lost, got to be 40 pounds.
Did you? I think we talked about it already. Dan Folger, he plays Uncle Marvin on the Goldbergs. Did you see the Thanksgiving episode with him?
He looks like a completely different guy.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it's when you meet them, you're used to a certain body type. Looked like it kind of didn't work for me. The guy was really in shape, and I don't know.
And that was purpose. That was purpose. I mean, he went on the keto diet, and he lost that weight, and he was in Walking Dead too. If I remember.
I sort of stopped watching it when he came on. Not because of that; he was the only bright spot. But I'm wondering if some of that was health, or was it because of the Walking Dead, and you can't be, chubby in the Walking Dead because there's no food. I don't know.
He was in Fanboys too. Remember that movie, Fanboys?
Oh yes,
he was in that movie too.
He's a pretty funny guy.
No, it was just for health reasons. For health reasons.
Good for him.
And yeah.
Anyway, well, it loses its cachet now.
I know. Yeah. It doesn't, because when I saw an episode a couple of nights ago of a Thanksgiving episode with him in it, and it was normal Uncle Marvin, not the Uncle Marvin that we see now. So,
but they did mention it in Goldberg's too when he came on this year, so that was good. They addressed it.
Hey, what are you doing on Christmas Day?
Christmas Day, we tiptoe down the stairs because the in-laws are here. So we open the presents when they remain asleep. So that's the little tightrope we walk.
So you don't have to buy them anything. The reason I'm saying
for the kids from Santa, we don't, because it becomes a fiasco with them. That's a whole other story. But so we do that, and we open the presents here. We have a nice breakfast. We wake them up, and then off we go to my sister's, which is real nice because we don't have to do a heck of a lot, and open some presents and have some fun over there. We may bring a word game or two this year, just to shake it up a little bit, because it gets a little stale with the conversations with my family. Sometimes it's how you doing, and then and then it's
All right, just settle down, sit down and relax. You have not been at this stage father thing for much long, okay? And you're not going to be at it for much longer. No, you got it all wrong. Take it from an expert, okay? Take it from an old pro. You got to take videos of the kid being in Frozen, and you got to sit everybody around the TV. Hey, you got to see Angelica. She was in Frozen. You have to show.
Well, that's
and everybody
the
has
problem
to
with
sit down.
Social media and email. My wife emailed that video to everybody we know, and everyone saw it on the Facebook already. So we can rehash it. That's for sure. But they've all seen. Most of them, I think, have seen it. It's a good question. There might be a few, outliers that haven't seen it that will present it to you. Right?
We've never, and don't tell us because it's funny. We know David's wife's name. We know my wife's name. You've never mentioned your wife's name, so don't. So let's just keep that kind of a secret. You know what I'm saying?
And she's never made an appearance on this show, although one time she called Leo out of the hot dog tasting contest. And and you heard her voice for one split second. Yeah, she's the mystery woman, that's for sure.
The long and suffering Mrs. Viviani.
The big mystery is why she married me. That's the mystery.
Well, listen, at 3 o'clock your time, noon our time,
right,
we're going to bring it back. We ran it over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, had such a great response to it. We're bringing back Wink Martindale, and we're going to count down the 100 greatest Christmas hits of all time.
Now, wait a minute. You're saying Wink Martindale. Was this recorded a while ago?
No, he does it every year. Every year.
And the list changes year by year, correct?
It kind of changes once in a while. I really thought it was going to be Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yes.
But the number one song, again, this year was White Christmas. And it changes. It kind of goes around.
Wait, you just gave the whole secret away?
Well, you've seen it. People have watched it. We ran it during the Thanksgiving holiday, and we posted the list up on our website. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question, because I've seen some of these lists, and they do that with baseball players, the best pitcher and whatever, all this stuff, the best. I find that when you see these lists, the person making the list inevitably is drawn to like maybe the last 20 years and elevate those above anything that they didn't really grow up with or were old enough to enjoy or whatever it might be or heard too many times. Does your list, is it representative? Does it have, I don't know, Bing Crosby singing, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Good,
yes,
okay.
Yes. It has, yeah. Oh, yes.
So it's got John Lennon with Happy Christmas.
It's got everything. Yep. Talks about the Beatles. The Beatles only recorded Christmas songs. What the only recorded Christmas music for the Beatles, it talks about it in the show, was they had done they would do it every year for their fan club, and it was just hey, Merry Christmas, this is Paul, this is John, this is George, just silly things. It wasn't a real
right. It was like just a hello kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. You've got to listen to it.
Well, which is your favorite
on the list?
Yeah.
My favorite song didn't make the list. My favorite song is by an artist called Rob Thomas, and it's called New York Christmas. And
really?
Yeah, it's a pretty good. I like it. I just like the words and the whole thing. There's also a song, Christmas in the Trenches, it's called, about the World War I truce during Christmas.
Okay.
I like that song, too. John McCutcheon, different people do that song.
So not the traditional. That's interesting.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, I've been listening to Christmas music,
right.
for 40-some-odd years. I mean, it's
Gets a little stale.
No. I love Christmas. I would listen to Christmas music year-round. In fact, I sing it sometimes throughout the season. My JD does not particularly care for Christmas. He likes it in doses or at certain times. Jake loves Christmas music. Joey likes Christmas music. It ebbs and flows. Teresa loves Christmas music. If it were me, I'd start playing Christmas music the day after 4th of July and running. Do you like it, or do you go, nah, I'd like to hear it.
I love it. I just think some of it, you've heard, they overplay some and they ignore some others, just like the ones that you just mentioned I hadn't even heard. But I've heard some others, like, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, too many times, if that's I still like it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, widen the horizon a little bit over here. Like, increase the playlist, because I really do like it. I like all versions. I like the religious stuff. I like the funny stuff. And my favorite, I would say, is, after all this, it's not Bing Crosby or Elvis singing Blue Christmas or Santa Claus Coming to Town with Springsteen, which is pretty good, Nat King Cole, Christmas song. But drum roll, my favorite is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Are you still there?
I'm so tired of that song.
The wackiness of it and they don't overplay it, obviously.
Yeah.
So I go
That's
for that
song. That song is in rotation like once every 2 days, and it has to be because it's such a novel song. But you know what song gets a lot of airplay, and at least on our Christmas list, I hear it at least once, if not twice a day sometime, is Snoopy's Christmas. Remember Snoopy's Christmas? He goes in the Red Baron. Snoopy
yes,
Red Baron.
yes. Oh, I haven't heard that one either recently. I don't know what's up.
Yeah.
Is that in big circulation or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And probably, one of my favorite Christmas songs, and not because it was controversial, but Baby It's Cold Outside. I always have liked that song.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Dean Martin's version did a nice job.
Yes. So.
I definitely have to listen. That's Christmas Day.
Yes,
12
Christmas Day.
10.
It's going to be
perfect.
It's going to be 12 noon to 10 p.m. So it'll be 3 o'clock your time to midnight your time. Correct.
So that's what I'm going to do when I get to the my sister's house.
Yep.
I'll just tune that in and leave it on, and we'll have some discussion, and maybe we'll steer the conversation towards KVGC.
There we go.
That.
Hey, what's coming up in the new? We've got a new year coming up. What's up with? Have you?
We've planned a little bit. There's a lot yet to plan, that's for sure. But I could tell you, the easy answer is I've got to line up. When you line up guests, you got to kind of line them up in advance with these quote celebrities. So we have John Delancey, who is Q on
Yes.
Star Trek Next Generation. If you ever saw that show, you definitely know him.
Seriously? Really?
What's that?
How were you able to get him? That's
It's a pretty good one, right?
yeah.
I push, and I ask, and sometimes they listen to the show, and they are you playing KVGC in Kent Jackson? We say, yes, all right, we're in, that kind of thing. And then got John Billingsley, who's the doctor on Star Trek Enterprise. It's kind of a odd one. You wouldn't necessarily know him all that well unless you watch that show. And then we have, remember the Munsters, of course.
Absolutely.
We've talked about that many times. What's that?
Absolutely.
And we have the Sole Survivor. You ready? Eddie Munster himself, Butch Patrick, will be on.
Really?
So that'll be kind of fun. He's an interesting guy, and we got him. And one of the ways is that I mentioned to him and many others that we had Kevin Burns, their boss, basically, or not his, but some others, like on the new Lost in Space. I'm working on trying to get some people from that, saying, your boss has been on our show 4 times. He loves it, blah, blah, Kevin Burns. So try to get him, people to react to that. And Butch Patrick is friends, because Kevin Burns is friends with all the old Munster and Star Trek and all these characters. So he knows them all. So we may have some fun on the show with Butch Patrick.
How does Butch Patrick and Kevin Burns? How do they match up? Where's that?
Because it's a good question. Because Kevin Burns is a big Munster fan. He's the foremost Munster collector of memorabilia.
Oh, okay.
And part of his collection, so to speak, is meeting the stars. He's met them all when they were alive. So that was pretty cool. And
how about Peter Weller? Peter Weller
hasn't been lined up yet, but I'm sure he makes a yearly appearance and for a couple of shows. So I just gotta, he's a man of a lot of interest.
Yeah.
I've hit upon a lot of them already, and I sort of don't want to repeat. So I'm going to try to find something new for him to talk about.
You need every talk show, every radio station has a guest that you can just call up at the last minute and go, hey, Beth, look at these guys canceled. Can you come in and talk about the food bank? Or, hey, can you come in and talk about blah, blah, blah. He is your guy, okay?
He's our go-to guy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, Peter, this guy didn't show up. I need you. Okay, be right there.
Exactly.
And he would do it, too, probably for you. He would
from anywhere. I don't know. He just loves the show, loves the concept. We know some people that know. David knows somebody that's worked with him and knows him pretty good. Had no connection to getting us on the show at all. They found out about that much later. In fact, David's connection found out about Peter Weller being on Everything Old Is New Again from Peter Weller at a Christmas party in California.
Wow.
Believed or not. I was just on this radio show, blah, blah. Oh, it's David's brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is on that show. And he just started talking about it. So, he really legitimately likes the show.
All right.
Which I love to say all the time. Then we have one last thing. We need new characters. You're going to be introduced to a couple new characters very briefly in a show coming up, a second show that we're going to do about Mr. Rogers. But I want to dedicate or develop these characters. We don't do characters all that much, but once in a while. Have you ever heard of Wheeler and Woolsey? 1930s comedians?
No.
They made 20 movies.
Really?
Woolsey died in 39. They were up against Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers. They outsold ticket-wise Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers, because at the time Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers were thought to be W.C. Fields and the Marx Brothers. Laurel and Hardy, they didn't outsell. W.C. Fields and the Marx Brothers in the 30s were thought to be too cerebral, and these two characters outsold them. They've been lost in the shuffle. No one's heard of them since, and I've seen some of their movies. The reason is they're just not that funny. So the shtick, and what I think is so funny is that they play it like an Abbott Costello, and their attitude is like they are the greatest and biggest hits on Broadway or in Hollywood, in the world, but meanwhile, when you see them, they're almost funny, but they're just not.
All right, we're running out of time. Before we preview tonight's show, I just want to say 2 things. Oak Island?
Getting interesting.
Okay. And don't waste your time on the FX movie made for FX Christmas Carol.
No good.
Oh.
Who's in that, do you know?
No, but it was hard to follow. It was broken up with commercials, and it don't waste your time on it, folks. Don't waste
Well,
your time.
Patrick, you watch the Patrick Stewart one if you can get that.
Oh yeah. We have that
Instead.
recorded. We have the George C. Scott one recorded.
Right,
But
those
anyway.
are two good ones. Henry Winkler's one is not bad. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. Hey, so what's up tonight?
Yeah, so I forgot. We do have a show tonight. Former boxer and Long Island staple. When I was growing up in the late 70s, you would see him in club to club. You'd see him around town. In Huntington, he grew up in Huntington, my hometown. He was the number one contender for the heavyweight championship of the world. He fought, I forget the year, late 70s. He fought Larry Holmes in a memorable fight.
Oh,
Gentleman Jerry Cooney will be on the show.
Cooney.
How about that?
Wow.
Does that ring a bell? I don't know if
Absolutely.
he's as big as...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He's got a new book coming out. He's a fun interview and a hometown guy. So it's going to be really interesting.
I remember his nose.
Oh yeah, he had the boxer's nose for sure.
Yeah.
And he had the boxer's attitude and all that. You know, that kind of, he's the Rocky kind of a guy.
Hey, back to again. We're way out of time here, but
Yeah.
Have you seen The Irishman at all?
I've not. I'm avoiding it because I'm hearing not the greatest, and it's 3.5 hours. How about you?
I started watching a half hour of it and went, ooh, I've got to dedicate another 2.5 hours. I think I'll wait. But, hey, I'll tell you what, star-studded cast.
Star-studded cast doesn't always do it, though. We've done that, right?
That's true. Hey, tonight, yes, speaking of, look at my show, look at your show.
Exactly.
What do you got there? Hey, tonight at 6 o'clock, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Douglas and David with Everything Old is New Again. And Douglas is going to be calling us on Christmas Eve, about 6:30 our time in the morning, and we'll chat, maybe some Viviani Christmas memories you can share with us, maybe some
why not?
traditions or whatever, that you want to pass on to Leo and Angelica. And,
well, how about the best Christmas present you ever received?
Oh, good. There's a good one for
That'd
it.
be
There's
good.
a good one. All right. Douglas Viviani, have a good show tonight.
Thanks.